Warning, you were about to watch Footy Nut Guy. Be afraid.
Hi everyone, and welcome to VEDA Day 22. Ever since I started making videos here on YouTube back in 2009, I've been asked if I'll make videos about my disability, and I've always been a bit reluctant to do this. Not because I don't want you to know, but more that I didn't really want to put things out there that may not turn out to be accurate. But things have changed. I've decided to make videos about my disability and tell you what I know and what I think I know, with the hope that if I get things wrong, there'll be people out there who'll be able to correct it for me and increase my knowledge. So with that in mind, I've decided to tell you today about my cerebral palsy. Cerebral palsy is a neurological disorder which can affect people in many different ways. With some, it can affect their mental capacity, and in others, their physical capacity, and with some, it can affect both. Cerebral palsy has affected me in the physical capacity. The most noticeable way is in my hands, in the fine motor coordination. It's very difficult for me to handwrite and it's very painful. So when I was younger, because I couldn't handwrite, people used to think I was thick. You can't handwrite, you're stupid, aren't you? So when I was younger, it did hold me back quite a bit. Remember, there were no computers when I was younger, so typing was not an option apart from on a manual typewriter, and I didn't have the strength in my fingers and hands to actually do that, so that was out. Another way that this affects me is in my walking. If you've ever seen me on a video as a gathering, you may have noticed my walking's not the best. Over the years I have managed to improve this with different coping strategies, but I still can't keep up with most of my friends, but most of them know this, so will slow down for me. Another way that cerebral palsy affects me is in my speech. As you can tell, I haven't got the best speaking voice in the world, and I do slur my words quite a bit, which does lead to a few extra takes to make a video, but that's okay. And of course, I can't sing. I know what you're thinking. We don't believe you. I bet you've got the best singing voice in the world. Well, I haven't, and I'm afraid I'm not going to prove to you how bad my singing voice is. I respect my viewers too much, and I wouldn't want to hurt their ears. My singing is so bad, I'm even worse than an X Factor contestant. There is a myth that people can catch cerebral palsy from another person, but this is completely untrue. There are many different ways a person can get cerebral palsy, with the main one being lack of oxygen at birth. When I was born feet first and was covered in bruises, and this is the most likely way that I got cerebral palsy, but I have heard of other people who've been born with the umbilical cord around the neck, and that's how they got it. So don't worry, you're not going to catch it off anyone, so you've got nothing to fear. Sadly, throughout my life I've had to see different doctors about this, which is probably part of the reason why I don't trust doctors. And the last time I went to see a specialist, he started using a different word instead of cerebral palsy. Now, I'm afraid I don't know what that word is, whether it's an addition to cerebral palsy or if it's instead of. But with the medical advances that have come along in recent years, perhaps they can diagnose things more precisely these days. And of course, when I was young, they didn't have the benefit of an MRI scanner. Up until a few years ago, I'd never had an MRI scan done on my brain, and I was a bit shocked at the results. As you can see from this picture, I have a number of cysts on my brain. With my eyesight, it's not quite that easy to tell whether it's 3 or 4. There is one large one, but maybe 2 smaller ones merging together, I'm not sure. They were talking about operating, but they came to the conclusion that the risks would outweigh the benefits, and they said they'd keep an eye on it and call me back once a year for a checkup, but I haven't been called back for a number of years, which hopefully is good news. Perhaps these cysts have something to do with the number of migraines I'm getting, but I'm not going to risk having an operation just on the off chance. So I'm afraid that's all I know about cerebral palsy. As I've said, I'm not certain everything I've said is accurate. Perhaps those people who have some knowledge of this would like to leave a comment down below and tell me if I've gone wrong anywhere or wish to add anything to what I've said. and perhaps somebody with cerebral palsy would like to leave a video response and give us their experience. Okay, I'll end this one here, and if you like this video, let me know in the comments, and in a few days I may tell you about my other disabilities, such as the problem with my eyes and the problem with my back. Let me know if you'd like to hear that, and I might do that in a few days. Okay, I'll end this one here. I'll see you again soon. Ta-ra!
You've been watching Footy Nut Guy, which makes you nuts.